Hey there, everyone. Welcome to my weekly messages. I'm Jelaila Starr. Today, the topic is Inside Your Soul's Mind. The topic came as a result of something that just occurred for me personally. This time, it's not a counseling session thing, but I feel it's something that we're all struggling to learn, and it's a big lesson, a big epiphany. Anyway, let me tell you about it. Recently, I've been getting all these messages, all these signs about you can either survive or you can thrive. And even Jonathan, my former husband, we've been kind of collaborating on this thing about, it's all up here and you can conquer anything if you really believe that you can. Well, it's one thing to think it. It's another thing to do it. And it requires staying positive because, mind is like a computer or a genie. You can control, you can tell it what to do, but sometimes it talks back. Well, really, it's your inner child that's talking back. But anyway, so there's always this struggle with we want to move forward, we want to stay positive, but there's that nagging little voice in the background going, yeah, but, anyway. It kind of undermines us, right? So like we'll start out the day and we're going to be super fantastic that day. And then something happens and boom, that's gone out the window. We're back to our stress and anxiety and it's a crappy day. And it's like, we haven't learned how to ride those waves of challenges. So this has been coming up in my face a lot lately because I said, you know what? I want to thrive. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. And I've been asking my soul today, show me how to thrive, how to thrive, how to thrive. So this is what occurred. I have two different things that I'm on the mailing list for, and they're kind of my inspiration people. One is Joel Osteen, who has Lakeview Church. I really like him because he's not preachy, and he really speaks to this about helping you see the higher perspective. He just uses the Christian terminology or Christian lingo, but it's the same thing that we're saying about, like when someone comes into your life and they're a nemesis, they're really there to help you get to the greater part of you or to grow through something. In other words, you can't have the good without the challenge to get to the good or to grow into the good. So the other one is a guy by the name of Bob Olson. He has Afterlife TV, and he interviews people who've had near-death experiences, many of whom have written books. So my soul, I can now see what she was doing. Anyway, last night, yesterday I got this email from Bob Olson about a new interview he did. So I listened to the interview. And it was about a lady who was in the war, and she was in a convoy, and the convoy got hit by a roadside bomb. And she had a near-death experience. And throughout that interview, it's a lot of things that we hear about, on the other side. But there's one thing that really stood out that I felt like was a big glaring message. And it's like my soul going, pay attention to this thing, pay attention. And it was, she talked about how she had this moment while she was on the other side where she goes, oh, I'm going to be blind in one eye. In other words, she was going to come back and she was going to be blind in one eye. And she says what really struck her about that was her soul was excited about that. It was like going, wow, that's a challenge I've never had. I've never done that one. And I was like, wow, yeah, that makes sense because from the soul point of view, there's nothing it can't overcome. It's all an illusion anyway. It sets up the drama so it can see how far it can go in overcoming them, whether it's 10%, 50%, 75%, or 100%. It's like what we talk about in counseling. You have 5 options for every event on your life blueprint. And it's, you can say A, B, C, D, or E. Well, E is you don't work through it, you run from it. A being you master it, okay? And so this is basically the same thing. The soul's going, oh, let's see how much I can accomplish, how much I can master that particular issue. So when she came back into her body, she says that moment where she experienced her soul's excitement over a challenge, never thinking that it couldn't do it, it's just how much it could do it. that really stuck with her and helped her go through rapid healing. Some of her injuries were pretty bad. And even though she didn't lose complete vision, she had double vision in that one eye because it had been filled, it had a couple of pieces of shrapnel in it. Anyway, so that was one clue, one sign. So then another sign was this morning. I get up and I watch Joel Osteen on Sunday morning, just kind of like to lift me up. Or usually, it's like what you guys say about these messages. It's always something you need to hear in the moment. And it was about how, the Goliaths in your life you cannot achieve what you want to achieve. He was using the analogy of David and Goliath. David would have never become king if it had not been for Goliath, because it was through him defeating Goliath that the people began to see him as a potential leader. He said Saul, who was the king at the time, could have chosen David to take his place on the throne, but that wasn't the way God chose to do it, or his soul chose to do it. It was that he had to go through an obstacle that other people thought no one could defeat, a Goliath being a giant, and then they would believe him, and then he would get the kingship. So anyway, I just thought that was another piece. It was like, even though you have these setbacks in life, these are just the illusions. These are the events that your soul set up. It's like my soul was saying to me, these are the events that I set up to see if you can master them. But you can master them. It's all an illusion. It's just an event that we set up. You can master it, and the way you do is you stay positive, because when you stay positive, you're putting out that energy and you're attracting its likeness back to you. And then my third piece, there's always signs in threes, right? This morning I wake up and I have this thought: you're either going to thrive or you're going to survive. And all my childhood, I had this instant thought about all my childhood I was surviving. I woke up every morning in survival mode because I grew up in a very challenging home where my dad had high anxiety, so we never knew when he was going to blow up because he got freaked out. And my mother was chronically depressed, so we never knew when she was going to be checked out. So you don't wake up in that environment thriving. You wake up that morning wondering, okay, what is it going to take to get through the stage? So you're in a constant state of stress. And I realized that's the way I've lived my life. And that's why I have luck, but I don't have as much as other people do. And I'm like, that's it. I've been in this cycle of survival because of my thinking. And my soul is saying, okay, you want out of that. Here are my answers. I gave you Afterlife TV. I gave you Joel Osteen. And now I gave you this thought about in your childhood, you were set up in the cycle of survival, not in the cycle of thriving. Your choice. I got it. So I don't know if that'll help any of you. It certainly helped me. I went out today. I'm getting ready to go out and walk the dogs. That's why I'm in my Nike shirt. Yeah, see? Right. Oh, right over there. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.